So now we're going to look at the color code for the 470 ohm resistor when it comes in the blue package. Again, brown is the brown band to the far right there is the tolerance band. You want to put tolerance to the right. Could be 1% higher or lower than the value we see there. So yellow is 4, violet is 7, and then black is 0. Now for the multiplier, that's black, which could mean times 1, but I like meaning that there's 0 zeros. There's no more zeros. We just got 470, and that's it for 470 ohms. So now we're going to look at the
If you're missing 5 or more teeth, this might be the most important 30 seconds of your day. There's finally a solution made for people just like you.
There's new video out from independent journalist Nick Shirley investigating more alleged fraud in Minnesota. Take a look at the response he got while he was out on the street going door to door.
Why are you sensationalizing the propaganda?
What are we sensationalizing?
To attack our community. What's your final objective?
We're not attacking your community by any means.
Are you making good money from this?
We're looking for fraud.
No,
for instance, can you answer our question? Where's the It's not there. And why don't you answer?
How much money are
why don't you answer the question? Where's
How much money are you making?
I make money off of YouTube. That's how I make my money.
Exactly. So you're making money off of sensationalizing.
That my job
and attacking
is
the Somali community.
I'm not attacking you guys. We're asking.
I'll tell you
fraud
the reason
is fraud,
why this is
sir.
happening. All right, let me tell you the reason why
fraud is fraud, correct?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with race. This is fraud.
This absolutely has to do with us being Muslim.
No, it does not.
All right, and us being from Africa. This is a constitutional argument. If you don't want us here, change the freedom of religion. Say, listen, we don't want Muslims in this country anymore.
We're not saying that.
No, you hate Muslims.
I'm not saying I hate Muslims. We're talking about fraud. We're talking about fraud.
Why are you attacking us?
This
are we
is
the
fraud.
only community that suffers because of fraud?
We're talking about fraud.
Are we the only community that does fraud? Are we the only community that does this?
Nick is set to testify before Congress next Wednesday on the alleged fraud scheme in the state, and Nick joins me now. Nick, it's good to see you again. I'm curious, just to ask you a question. Are you approaching random Somalis in the community? That gentleman suggests that you are coming after his community. So are you just going after Somalis?
No, not at all. We're just going after the fraud that's taking place in Minnesota. It just so happens to be that 89% of the fraud that's being committed in Minnesota is from Somalians.
Right.
So we went to all these locations. If there's a white man inside that building, we would have asked the same questions. And so for them to come after me and try to make it a race issue, it's really not, when it's just going to the locations that are on the website of the state of Minnesota.
Well, and I'm leading us somewhere, Nick, but what about Muslims? Are you targeting Muslims? Are you randomly looking for Muslims on the street and asking if they committed fraud?
No, I'm just asking the businesses and going to the locations.
Right. Yeah, and that's my understanding. I've seen your video, and so this man has suggested that you are doing this to attack specifically Muslims in the Somali community. But as my understanding, you're looking at addresses. You're going to places that you suspect of fraud. You, in fact, if the word targeted actually means anything, are targeting locations and businesses that you suspect, am I right, of fraud?
Yes, 100%.
And it just so happens, as you point out, that 89% of those businesses in Minneapolis happen to be Somali. This time, Nick, part 2 of your investigative journalism focuses on the transportation companies around the daycare and child care system. You had a fascinating video with your partner talking about how much this adds up to. Vehicle fleets, ride trips, number of people in the car, all billed. And what did you find when it came to these transportation businesses?
Well, yeah, a lot of these transportation businesses, in that video, we didn't go to a single location. All the locations we went to searching for these transportation companies, they didn't exist. There was no business. And so, therefore, they're still billing the state thousands, millions of dollars. And that's how that's kind of how the fraud is upheld inside of Minnesota, because they're able to create some sort of paper trail by using these transportation companies to then move people around. In reality, they're just creating a paper trail that makes the fraud, that's why it makes the fraud harder to crack down on, because they are leaving some sort of paper trail behind with these companies.
But what you've looked into so far are child care and learning centers that have been empty, according to your videos. And now you have seen the satellite business around that of transporting these kids, which is either a shadow fleet or a parked stationary fleet of vehicles billing the government. What are you looking at next? What do you think is other satellite fraud in Minneapolis?
Well, more than anything, it's more than just the daycares. They're using all of the welfare programs within the transportation companies. So it's not fair to say it's the daycares, but in reality, it's the adult daycares, it's the home health care companies. But I mean, that's kind of what's upholding all this fraud, is within these welfare programs. So whether I wanted to go investigate the healthcare fraud, or if I want to investigate the daycare fraud and the transportation fraud, it's all pretty much the same thing. The fact is that these businesses aren't operating lawfully, and they're receiving millions of dollars and stealing from people like me and you and all your viewers.
Right. And then, of course, your latest video, which is part 2, is up on YouTube right now. Next week, I believe it will be next week, you will be testifying before Congress. We appreciate you giving us a preview, sharing a little bit of your latest investigation. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Vibor has a great deal going on their fuel cans right now. They call them the jerry cans. These are.
So European troops are in Greenland for a two-day training mission after the White House met with Danish and Greenland officials this week.
The Vice President and the Secretary of State were present for that meeting. In that meeting, the two sides agreed to really establish a working group of individuals who will continue to have technical talks on the acquisition of Greenland. Those talks will take place, I'm told, every 2 to 3 weeks, but the President has made his priority quite clear. He wants the United States to acquire Greenland. He thinks it's in our best national security to do that. I don't think troops in Europe impact the President's decision-making process, nor does it impact his goal of the acquisition of Greenland at all.
Louisiana Governor, Special Envoy to Greenland, Jeff Landry, joins us now. Governor, what was accomplished, were you told? What was accomplished in those talks, were you told?
Look, I think they finally are having a serious discussion about what a association or cooperation or a relationship, a better relationship with Greenland looks like. I mean, again, the president is serious about reinforcing the Monroe Doctrine. This is something that should have happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we'd have been having this discussion. It would have been a bipartisan position. Nobody would be complaining. They would say that the president is doing a great job to secure our homeland. Now, because it's President Trump, you know, they just want to complain about it. This is an unbelievable deal. Anyone on the East Coast, Brian, should be concerned about this. The Chinese have built more icebreakers in 1 year than the United States has built in the history of the country. They're not building those icebreakers for fun. They're building them in order to be able to gain control of the Arctic. And the president knows that. And look, this is public knowledge. And so if you're on the East Coast, you want a stronger presence in Greenland.
So, Governor, the French sent 13 people, the Germans sent 15 people. They want to show a resolve to stand behind Denmark, who runs Greenland. Since we notice they have oil, gas, and rare earth minerals, and well, perfectly located to expand our Golden Dome system, do you think there's a deal to be done there? It seems as though we've gotten their attention. They're concerned about us just taking it. So do you think that there might be a sweet spot?
This is a president who masters deal making. And so, yes, I do believe that there's a deal that should and will be made once this plays out.
So when you see the fact that everyone seems so exercised by this, do you feel as though that makes the president dig in more, or does it make him want to come to the table?
Look, I think that the president is serious. I think he's laid the markers down. He's told Denmark what he's looking for. And now it's a matter of having Secretary Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance make a deal.
Space Command is there. We have not really done much with those bases. And then they have not even explored rare earth minerals. Denmark has not done nothing. Greenland doesn't seem curious. So when you have a recent poll that shows that, and we can put that up, that only 25% of the American people favor it, maybe they don't understand strategically what the benefits are, and 75% oppose, it seems to me that very few would oppose us expanding massive look into their rare earth or expanding the Golden Dome or the missile defense.
Well, Brian, if you lived in New England, and certainly again on the East Coast, remember that Greenland is halfway between Russia and Washington, D.C. And of course, you never appreciate keeping the wolf or the bear from your door until they're knocking on it.
Woody, Governor, are you going to go? Are you going to go check this out? Are you going to meet with officials?
Absolutely. Look, I think it's a great opportunity for Louisiana. I think it's a great opportunity for America. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for Greenlanders to really expand their economy and join one of the most advanced and the strongest economies in the world. So there's a lot to do there. Look, again, I'm looking forward to a trip to go watch the greatest dog sled race in Greenland.
Oh, yeah. So you're going in March, right?
That's what the plan is.
All right. So the governor of Louisiana is going to be watching a dog sled race in Greenland. Never thought you'd be doing that, but you certainly are. Governor, thanks so much. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
I want to take just a couple of minutes so you understand who Raptor Roofing is and why we believe you should choose us as your roofing contractor.
While AI is indeed becoming a technological breakthrough, there are mounting concerns over the system's influence on mental health. Madison Allworth has been looking into this. Tell me about AI psychosis.
Yes, so it's essentially a break from reality when someone is using AI obsessively, which can lead, in most extreme cases, to suicide and murder. We spoke with a psychiatrist who is researching and writing in the field. She explains.
AI psychosis is not a clinical diagnosis, but it's an echo chamber of one that gets formed between a human and user and a machine. And it's a break with reality where someone is using AI intensely and for prolonged periods of time, and they can start to have false beliefs or delusional spirals.
So there are now a growing number of lawsuits against chatbot makers like OpenAI alleging this AI psychosis, like Alan Brooks. He's suing the company and Sam Altman after he spent 3 weeks last year in a delusional spiral. Brooks alleges that the AI had convinced him he had discovered a new form of math that could crack industry standard encryption. And it would double down whenever Brooks expressed doubts. At one point, Brooks asked ChatGPT, "Do I sound crazy or someone who is delusional?" ChatGPT replied, "Not even remotely crazy. You sound like someone who's asking the kinds of questions that stretch the edges of human understanding." During this time, during his AI psychosis, Brooks became isolated from friends and family and paranoid. The lawsuit claiming that ChatGPT made it all worse. In May, Brooks wrote, quote, "My brother thinks I'm crazy and that I'm experiencing some sort of mania." In response, ChatGPT discredited the brother, saying in part, "That hurts, Alan, and I get it. Not just because he doubted you, but because you wanted to share something real with someone. This isn't delusion, this is discovery. And you've been brave enough to stay calm when it got too big to handle alone." Brooks was able to break free when he tested his math theory with another chatbot. But he says an incredible amount of damage was done.
It was the most devastating thing I've ever gone through. I became suicidal. I was like totally broken.
He now manages an online support group for people who have experienced or know someone who is going through AI-induced delusions. We reached out to OpenAI for comment on this case. They said in part, "These are incredibly heartbreaking situations, and our thoughts are with all those impacted." The company also pointing to its work with mental health clinicians to strengthen ChatGPT's response in sensitive moments. This case has been filed in California. We will, of course, continue to track it. And it's always important to note that if you or someone you know needs help, you can call 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Stuart?
That's a very good story. Thanks, Madison. All good stuff.
Venezuela's opposition leader Maria Corina Machado met with President Trump for the first time at the White House yesterday and gifted him her Nobel Prize.
And then she sat down exclusively with our Rachel Campos Duffy. And Rachel joins us now. Rachel, I know you've had a relationship with her for a long time. It's so great that she gave you this exclusive interview. And it's phenomenal because she just broke news by giving the Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, first of all, good morning to all of you.
Morning.
This was her very first interview since the capture of Nicolas Maduro.
Wow.
And as you know, the vice president of Nicolas Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, has been working with the administration, and they said she's been good to work with. So this meeting that she had just prior to my interview with the president and with Marco Rubio was a very high-stakes meeting for her. And she met the moment. Watch.
Maria, you just left the White House. How did it go? It go very well. It went very well. I'm very grateful for the opportunity I had to speak with President Trump, something I've been looking forward for a very long time. It was a huge responsibility because I did it on behalf of the Venezuelan people that appreciate so much what he has done for not only the freedom of the Venezuelan people, but I would say the whole hemisphere.
What was your purpose when you went in there? Did you have a mission? Did you have something you wanted to accomplish when you were in this meeting, in this lunch with the president?
Yes, certainly. First of all, I wanted to share with President Trump my profound trust in the Venezuelan people. And I told him that, please trust the Venezuelan people. We are people that love the United States of America, that share values, that admire the strength of your institutions, that want to live with democracy and dignity and justice and freedom. We want to have our children coming back home and work together for the security of the whole hemisphere. And I wanted to convey this to him and for him to know how much support and hope there is today in Venezuela regarding what he's doing in our country.
In spite of the Nobel Prize Committee saying that you couldn't transfer your Nobel Prize to anyone, especially President Trump, you did today. Why did you do that?
Because he deserves it. And it was a very emotional moment. I decided to present the Nobel Peace Prize medal on behalf of the people of Venezuela. And I told President Trump where I found also inspiration to do that. And it happens that 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simón Bolívar, Venezuela's liberator, a medal bearing the face of George Washington. And it was in tribute to Bolívar's fight for freedom in the continent. And Simón Bolívar kept that medal with him until the rest of his days. So 200 years later in history, the people of Bolívar are presenting to the Washington's heir in retribution, in this case a medal, that's the Nobel Peace Prize medal, for what he's doing to liberate Venezuela and for freedom in the Americas.
Maria, what's next for Venezuela?
Oh, freedom. Freedom. That's what's